You through how you can update the code for an array to instantiate different objects on button taps. So I sent you the script that we worked on yesterday. I did not put the array stuff in it because I think it would be more valuable for you to code along with me and put that in there than for me to just give it to you. But I did test the code that we did together yesterday on both these joystick buttons that were from the AR Rollerball and the UI buttons that you can get, from adding a UI object over here, and they both worked as long as it had in your button, as long as you had the left joy button script and the right joy button script in those buttons. They worked fine. Whether they were this type of button or the UI style text button, like that, they both work. So if you like these style of buttons better, you should be able to do them. I don't know why it didn't work on yours. I'm guessing that there's something wrong in your code. But anyway, I sent you the code that we worked on yesterday, so you should be able to plug that in and get it working. Although mine's named a little bit differently, so you might want to change the name. But anyway, let's take a look at how we can edit this code to instantiate an array. So I have your AR place object. Mine's called CHAR place object because I wanted to keep my original. And the first thing we need to do is turn these game objects, left object to place, right object to place, into arrays. Because I have other versions of this, and these are public, you get collisions between various scripts in the same project that have the same name. So I want to just rename these something different. So instead of left object to place, I'm going to call this L object to place, and right object to place, R object to place. And then we need to instantiate these as an array, and you do that with open and close brackets like this. Okay, why? Bad array decimator. That should work. Why is that not working? Oh, not here. Sorry. They don't go here. They go here. Yes, that's where they go. Okay, so public game object, open close brackets, left object to place. Public game object, left open close brackets, right object to place. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now that I've changed the name of this, down here, these are broken. Left object to place, right object to place. We need to change this just to R object to place, L object to place, and they're still broken because it wants you to tell it which object out of the array of objects you want to create. And so you need an open and close brackets with some number in it. So this would be the first object in the array. This would be the second object. This would be the third object because it goes from 0, 1, 2. And you can make this any size you want. So if it was a 10 object array, it would go from 0 to 9. Okay? So for now, we're actually going to, because we want this to increment, we don't want to put a specific number in there. We want to put an index value. So let's call this is right object to place. Let's declare up at the top, but we can go ahead and type it in now. R index in here. Okay, and down here, same thing. We're going to say L index, even though that variable doesn't exist yet. Let's go ahead and create that variable. Up at the very top, we have all of our privates. This is going to also be private because this will be the only place we use it. and we can make this a private, and we only need a number between 0 and maximum 255, so we can just use a byte instead of an int. We don't need any negative numbers, and we don't need, I doubt you're going to need more than 255 objects. So private byte R index, private byte L index, and these by default will start at 0, so we don't really need to declare that. And now you see this works. The underlining went away, but right now they're only going to ever instantiate the first object in the list, because we need to add some code to increment this index and to roll it back over to 0 when it gets to the length of the array. So we want to first instantiate at the current index value. Then we want to increment the index value, which we can just say R index plus plus, which will increment that index value. Then we just need to write a short if statement that says if the index value equals the length of the array, then set the index value back to 0. So we say if R index equals R object to place dot length, then open close braces, R index equals 0. Okay, that's all you have to do, because then, and the cool thing about doing it this way, where I'm using this R object to place dot length, is this dot length will change automatically based on the length of the array. So it'll work with a 1 item array, it'll work with a 10 item array, it'll work with a 100 item array. It'll work with a 255 item array, but it won't work with a 256 item array. All right, cool. So let's do the same thing down here. Let's just copy this code. Actually, let's copy from the R index plus plus. Copy this, go down here, and paste that in your left index, and then change it for left. So this says R index here. Let's change that to L index plus plus. If L index equals L object to place dot length, L index equals 0. Okay, that should be all you need to do to create an array. So let me save this. I did want to show you also, we took this out in our example. It's used to say if not jumped and right join button pressed, and then if jumped and right button not pressed, then jumped equals false. I changed that word jumped to R placed. We had taken that out in the code, but I put it back because what was happening is you'd hold down the button and it would instantiate a million different objects. It would, one per frame, and it was kind of cool to draw with it, but I don't think that's what you wanted. So I put that code back, and instead of throttling how many jump messages are sent, it's throttling how many objects are instantiated, so you only get 1 per button press. So that's in the code that I'm sending you. But yeah, we've added this index code and the code for instantiating a particular object out of the array. So if we save this, go back into Unity and look at your AR session origin, you now have L object to place size 0. Change that to something. Let's make it 3 for now. And now I have 3 elements that pop up. Same here, R object to place size 0. Change that to 3. And now I have 3 objects. Elements here that I can populate with objects, and then just in your prefabs I created a bunch of ones here. So let's say I have a capsule, a cube, and a cylinder over here, and then down here maybe I use a sphere. We'll use the cylinder again, and use the capsule again. Okay, I'm gonna not do this ground object. I don't think we need it. Yeah. Oh, the other thing I did is I went ahead in AR Plane Manager and chose a plane prefab, and I grabbed that plane prefab out of the darkness monster patch. You know, there's a which consists of this AR plane visualizer prefab and the associated plane detection material. Make sure that in this plane visualizer here on element 0 on the mesh renderer that you actually plug in this material, otherwise it'll end up being pink. But we should be able to build this and it should work. Let's take a look. So let's see, build settings, build, save, replace, master. All right, here we go. There we go. All right. Come on, pick up the floor. Let's go. So it should, with you, if you use that screen visualizer, then you kind of don't really need a placement indicator, but you can tell when it's actually tracking the floor. And I hit the blue button and I get that, and then I hit it again and I get something else, and I hit it again and I get something else. Same thing with the green button, and I cycle through. So it should be another red capsule now, then another blue square, then another yellow cylinder. Yeah. So that is how you can use an array to instantiate one of several objects. Make sense? Cool.